if you're looking for sure, women over 40, women over 50, whenever I go past the pickleball places, I think the majority of people that I personally see in my area are over 40, 50. I know there's some 60-year-old, I mean, but they look fabulous, right? Because they're active and all the things. And so go to where your people are. So I stopped solely relying on social media. And here's what I did instead. So, welcome back to another episode of the Charisse Williams Show. I'm so excited that you're here, and I'm so excited to share with you this pivot, if you will. And not a hard pivot, but I didn't stop, as I mentioned, I didn't stop using social media because it wasn't working. In fact, let me be very, very clear. It was working. It is working. It continues to work. I will still continue to utilize and build my brand on social media for sure, 100%, no doubt. But what I found was I was starting to have this deep desire for more, for something more. And so one thing I will share is whenever you have a desire for something more, lean into it, explore it, right? Because rarely does it ever take you off track. So what I noticed is that I was desiring something more. I felt like I wanted more connection, more depth, more intimacy, if you will, more immediacy. And recently, like I mentioned, I made a shift that reminded me of something that I had forgotten, if I'm being quite honest. I completely forgot how much I love being in rooms with real people, real live people, real rooms, real conversations, real energy exchange. And what happened next once I rediscovered, I'll use that word, once I rediscovered that, it literally changed how I attract clients, how I connect, and how I convert instantly. Instantly is the big piece. So let me take you back for a bit to, let's say, the old model. And again, I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying. I am still building my business online. I'm still teaching people how to build a business online. It works. It's effective. It's you can build a multi-million-dollar brand online. Let me not say but, and you can also do the same offline as well. So I'll take you back to 2020. Because up until then, I was doing, in-person events. I was partnering with different businesses in person, all the things. And then we all know what happened in 2020, right? The world changed, the world shifted, the world shut down, in fact, and pretty much everybody was forced to really lean into more of an online model. It wasn't a bad thing. And in fact, I think it's a beautiful thing because we all quickly discovered that we don't have to be in person for a lot of things to still, continue on. So up until 2020, or in 2020, I'll just say this, in 2020 is where I shifted my business and literally 100% online, literally continue to build my business 100% online, posting content, having conversations in the DMs, doing launches online, enrolling people into my holistic health coaching programs online, as well as my business coaching programs online, launched tons of different mini programs and containers online. And it worked. And again, it still works. I'm not changing that. I'm continuing to do it. But there is something very different, right? There's a difference between something working, right, and something feeling or making you feel totally alive. And so that's kind of where it is. Like I said, I didn't realize how much I missed the real connection with people. There's only so much you can do over, online, right? But I miss the real connection with people. I miss that energy exchange. When you're in someone's presence and you guys are just vibing and you're excited, they're excited. You can feel their energy. They can feel your energy and excitement, and enthusiasm and sincerity and all of that. You build immediate rapport. That is so fun, so cool, so amazing. And so I didn't need a new strategy, right? I just needed more proximity. And I don't even want to say needed. Needed in terms of that's what I was like, my body was craving for. Not needed as in, affecting the bottom line necessarily, which I'm going to get into in just a second. But in terms of honoring what it was that I was desiring and what was coming up in me, like, man, I kind of feel like I want to be in front of people, right? So that proximity, it's no joke. So we know the world has been open since 2021, right? And quite honestly, I never felt the urge or the desire or the need even. I never felt called to do in-person things or in-person events, in-person gatherings, in-person anything until now, which is so interesting. That's why I say, honor what it is that's calling to you. Okay. When I finally leaned in, I was like, and it wasn't that I was resistant. The minute I felt the urge, I'm like, okay, here's the beautiful thing about this. So if you have desire for something, and even if you don't have all the details planned out, figured out, that part's not necessary. The part that's necessary is you honoring that desire and you being open to exploring, the next desire, whatever. Because as soon as I was like, okay, you know what, let's do this. Opportunities popped up. This is exactly what happened when I first launched my holistic health coaching business back in 2018. Right. So opportunities just started opening up. And again, I realized how much I missed it. I missed the speaking. Now, granted, I did some on stage speaking at large conferences last year, so 2025. I'll do some this year. Some are already on the books. Larger stages, even some smaller stages, if you will. But the speaking, the conversations, the intimate settings, feeling people in real time, feeling people get it, and watching people get it in real time. Listen, there is nothing. When I say there is nothing that happens in a room, or there, I would say it differently. There is something. I was going to say there's nothing that compares to it, but I will say it differently. There is something that happens in a room that just cannot be replicated or duplicated in the same way, like online. There's nothing that compares to it. So I always say, get yourself in the room, number one. So what did I do instead? Or not instead, what did I do in addition to building my business online, right? And hosting events online, launching things online. One, started doing in-person events. I mentioned that. Simple, not over curated, not over produced, very simple, intimate, designed with literally the whole design was designed to activate people, not just educate people. Okay. So in-person events, I partnered with my son's gym, right? And hadn't even considered doing it ever before. Why? Because I was never open to it. And when I say opportunities just showed up and opened up, he literally reached out to me and said, "Hey mom, you want to do a pop-up at the gym?" I'm like, well, yes, I do. And like I said, it happened so easily because it was the right time. He's been running that gym for 10 years. But again, I've never had the desire to do anything in person after 2020, right? The other really cool thing is that the connections that I made when I was there. So one thing, in-person events, and I'm sharing this with you because if this is something that has maybe been stirring inside of you and you're like, I think I want to do something a little different. I want to add something else in, right? In-person events. Okay. I feel like I've said this ad nauseum for the last 6 years. I will continue to say it because it makes all the difference in the growth of your business. But you want to make sure that you're going to where your ideal clients are anyway. That's true for online. And I've been saying that for 6 years. That's why one of the reasons we really love Facebook is because people are already gathering in communities, right? Through the Facebook group. So if they're in a perimenopausal group, guess what? You don't have to wonder if they're in perimenopause. They're in the group. And there's lots of them. There's lots of groups and with lots of members, right? If you're wondering, if your ideal client are high achieving women that, that have high blood pressure, right? There are groups for that. If your ideal clients are empty nester, there are groups for that. There are groups for everything. So again, going to one of the easiest ways to build your business is to go to where your people already are. That holds true for online and that absolutely holds true for in person. So, and don't make it a big deal. You don't have to make a big, huge, you have to run out of space. You don't have to do any of that. Make it simple. Simple, simple, simple. The second thing I will say is strategic partnerships. Now, if you have been following me online as of late, you have seen me post a lot about partnerships that I have developed and created, right? One of them with My Fit Foods. Why? How did that come about? They were actually at the gym event. They were there as well. Okay. And so created a partnership with them. There's 5 locations here in my area. And beautiful thing is I'll be doing this really cool, like longevity lounges. I'm so excited about that. And it's all around peptide education, right? So my ideal clients are already coming into that establishment anyway. I've partnered with other places that offer cryo, that offer IV hydration services, that offer that have infrared, like wellness centers. Okay, that offer lots of different wellness treatments, but they don't offer peptides. And so guess what? Charyse gets to come and do the longevity lounge. You can call it whatever you want, but longevity lounge, right? And educate the people who are already there, who are already optimizing their health. They're already doing the thing, right? But not specifically, like I said, none of those businesses offer peptides. So I want you to think about this. Think about places that you personally go, right? And then also think about other places maybe that you don't go, but you could, and they're in your area. So it's not like you have to travel really, really far. Yoga places. Again, where are women? Listen, large demographic. Pickleball. I was gonna say, if you're think about who plays I feel like everybody plays pickleball right now. But if you're looking for sure women over 40, women over 50, whenever I go past the pickleball places, I think the majority of people that I personally see in my area are over 40, 50. I know there's some 60-year-old, but they look fabulous, right? Because they're active and all the things. And so go to where your people are. Do not do it the hard way. So it's strategic partnerships, wellness centers, chiropractors, functional chiropractors, things like that. Okay. So you don't have to build an audience. You don't have to try to build an audience offline. So online, there's already audiences you can plug into, right? Offline, there are also audiences that you can plug into. You don't have to build those audiences. Just step into communities that already exist that have those people there, okay? And then the third thing, so I talked about in-person events, talked about strategic partnerships. The third thing is real-time conversions. That's one huge thing that you can anticipate, okay? Because when you are in person, of course, you're having just very genuine conversations. And those conversations, because it's in such close proximity, what does it do? You gain trust almost immediately. So the conversations lead to trust. And because that trust is formed, even right then and there in a conversation, what does that do? That leads to decisions being made, right? You don't have this long nurture sequence that we often find ourselves in. And I would say it's even longer now when you're online, right? But it's not a long nurture timeline or a long nurture sequence. Literally, you're there. Not to say you won't nurture some of the other people. I will. I have. I put them on my email list. I'm in connection with them. But let me share with you. I'm going to share with you the results. But before I share with you some of the results from even that first event, because I want to talk to you I want to just talk to you about one event, because oftentimes we think, oh my gosh, I have to do so much. Calm down. Listen, Linda, listen, right? Just from one event. But before I do that, I wanted to share with you, when people can feel you genuinely, they connect with you genuinely, they don't need to be convinced, right? And you guys know I talk about that all the time. There's such a yucky feeling of being in that convincing energy. And whenever you find yourself trying to convince someone, whether it's online or in person, I would say step away. Step away. Because if you're having to convince, that means that there was something. Number one, the energy is wrong. And this is really what's true about if you find yourself in convincing energy. You are trying to make someone do something that they aren't fully committed to doing. Okay? Who the heck wants that? Who the heck wants to do that? Nobody, right? So when you are having a genuine conversation and they're sharing with you what's going on, you're sharing with them some possible solutions, that they don't need any convincing. And again, all this happens like so quickly because you're in person having this conversation. So let me share with you some of the results. So that particular event that I was referring to, the first event, was on a Wednesday. I met several people. I had them take a peptide quiz. They just scanned my QR code. But again, most of it was lots of conversations. Of course, the goal was to get as many people who were there to to scan the QR code for the peptide quiz. Because now, guess what? That is the lead capture, right? So now I have their phone and email and name and all that, and I can continue to follow up with them. Okay. But there are lots of conversations, and this is what's really, really important. I don't want you to miss this. Real life people in real time sharing what they're struggling with. Right? And so from that, I met several people, but I'm just share with you this one. I had a really good conversation with one girl. We connected on Instagram before we even left. We had a couple of conversations between Wednesday and Saturday. On Saturday, her and her mom decided to start their peptide journey, which is really cool. So do you see how quickly that was? Wednesday to Thursday. I did not meet her mom. I met her mom on Friday, actually, because we decided to hop on a quick Zoom, all three of us. So Wednesday, Friday, we all hopped on a quick Zoom to answer whatever questions. Saturday, they both ordered. What also happened, order some peptides. What also happened was on that Wednesday, same Wednesday, I had another conversation with another young lady, and she was sharing with me how, she's doing all the right things. And you guys know my story. I was doing all the right things. I was working out. I was eating healthy. I was doing all the things, but I just wasn't releasing weight at the rate that I thought I should. That was her exact story, right? So we connected on that level. We had conversations. I did a giveaway, actually. She ended up winning the giveaway. And then we ended up booking her call. I actually gave away root cause blood work analysis. So I did a root cause blood work analysis with her, and she ended up enrolling in my holistic health coaching program, right? So from one event, I was there maybe 2 hours, let's say 2 hours with setup time, which took me probably 20 minutes. But start to finish, let's say 2 hours, and I ended up helping 2 people start their peptide journey, and I ended up getting 1 holistic health coaching client. That's it. I mean, and there's, I'm sure more people will convert at some other point, but I share this with you because it was a small event. Now, here's the thing. I could have been like, oh my God, there's not that many people here. Maybe there are 20. Maybe there are 20 people total. Men, women, there, of course, there were some kids there because it was a run club event thing situation going on. But it doesn't, when I say small and intimate, it doesn't take a lot. Now, do I love big rooms? Absolutely. Will I curate larger events? Absolutely, I will. But do not sleep on small, intimate events. Like I said, maybe there were 20 people there. I think I got 10 leads total from that event. So there were probably 20 people there. From those 10 leads, 3 have already converted into something, right? So you're able to enroll clients faster, right? You have warmer conversations, deeper conversations, more genuine conversations. Because of that, you create that instant rapport and that deeper trust. You have fun while you're doing it, if that's your thing. Now listen, if your thing is not, if you hate people, and I use that word very, I don't think you hate people, but if that is not your thing, don't force yourself to do it, because you're not going to have fun. You're not going to have genuine conversations because it's not your thing. This is for you if you're like, oh my gosh, I love doing this kind of thing. I love interacting with people. That is my thing. I light up in those environments. Then do it. Absolutely do it. So more fun, more alignment. And so again, this doesn't replace social media. You will not see anything different from me on social media. I will continue to show up. I will continue to do launches. I will continue to do educational events. I will continue to do master classes, all the things. And I will continue to do in-person events too. So it doesn't replace social media. It simply enhances everything that I was already doing. So that being said, if you have been really desiring more connection, right? If you've really been craving more connection in your business, this just might be the move for you too. So start simple, 1 room, 1 conversation at a time, 1 opportunity. And if you want help with your own event, your own in-person event, right? If you are building a strategic partner, if you want help even building strategic partnerships, like this, like I just explained, send me a DM. Literally, just send me a DM. DM me the word event. DM me the word event, and I'll know exactly what you're talking about, and I can show you how to do it very, very, very simply. You know me. I'm simple yet effective. Simple yet effective. So DM me. My contact information is down below in the show notes, you guys. So remember, social media introduces you. Social media, you can build a huge brand on social media, right? Proximity is what converts. Proximity is what converts. So that being said, you guys, thanks so much for tuning in for this episode of the Charyse Williams Show. I cannot wait to see you next time for another episode of the Charyse Williams Show. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And as always, I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Before you go, make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss what's coming next. This show is for nurses, nurse practitioners, and clinicians who are ready to practice, lead, heal, and live differently. If this podcast resonates with you, a quick review helps the right people find their way here too. And if you want to take this beyond listening, I'd love to personally invite you into the Quantum Leap community, our free Facebook space where this conversation continues and you don't have to figure it out alone. You'll find the link in the show notes below. I'll meet you there.